Hi, friends. Welcome to the Read Aloud for the day. This one is called Black Tip Reef Sharks. And I'm hoping you can guess that the reason that I will be reading Black Tip Reef Sharks today is because you learned about Black Tip Reef Sharks in your Green Fern Zoo reader. So let's get started with this read aloud today. Blacktip Reef Sharks by Alan Morey. And it says this photo illustrated book describes the blacktip reef shark and explains their coral reef habitat, their life cycle, and how they hunt prey. So let's get started. Our first chapter is Black Tipped Fins, starting on page 4. Black tipped fins. Coral reefs swarm with life. Colorful fish swim about. Shrimps scuttle across the ocean floor. Squid dart through the water. Reefs are beautiful places, but there is also danger. A blacktip reef shark lurks nearby. With a flick of its tail, it shoots through the water. It chases after its prey. Then chomp. So, friends, do you remember what this means when we have a word that is big and bold? We did it in a lesson the other day about glossary. So, this word is actually in the glossary at the back of this book. But let's click on it and see what happens.
Prey,
An animal hunted or killed by another animal for food. So, prey is what animals kill in order to eat. Okay. We always need to read the captions. So, anytime you have wording underneath a picture or a photograph like this one, it's called a caption. So, this caption says, Blacktip reef sharks lurk near coral reefs looking for fish to eat. Let's find out what happens when we turn the page. Oh, and look at this one. There's a caption on top and a question on the bottom. The black tips on the fins are what gave these sharks their name. Oh my goodness. So you guys can see right here, these black tips, that's how they got their name. At least I know how to identify them now. So our question is, how big can blacktip reef sharks grow? Here we go. There are many kinds of reef sharks. They include white tip and gray reef sharks, but it is easy to spot a black tip. The tips of its fins are dark. That is how these sharks got their name. Black tips are thin sharks. They have a rounded snout. That's their nose, rounded snout. The top of their tail fin is much longer than the bottom. Okay. So, whoops. So here's their rounded snout. Here is their top fin, and it's longer than the bottom part. So here's our question. How big can blacktip reef sharks grow? The answer, up to 6.5 feet. 6.5 feet. That's pretty tall, friends. Nope, I went 2 pages. Sorry about that. So our next heading is called Life in the Reef. So a heading is kind of like a chapter name. And so you can expect the rest of this to be about life in the coral reef. Blacktip reef sharks like to swim near reefs, of course. Their name tells you that. They like warm, shallow water. They can swim in water only 1 foot deep. So, friends, do you think we would see a blacktip reef shark around here if they like warm, shallow water? I don't know about you guys, but the water out here at my beach, it's pretty cold. Black tips live mostly in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Many black tips are found near Australia. They also live by southern Asia. They swim near small islands. Some live in the Mediterranean Sea. So, do you remember what we call this? Starts with a K. Good. I heard some of you say it. It's called a caption. Black tip reef sharks swim in the warm, shallow water near coral reefs. Here's a really good picture of its round snout. Wow, beautiful. Oh, look at this funny fish. Look at his lips. Whoops, I turned the page accidentally again. Look at his lips. Ah. Okay, so this is another caption. This is a grouper fish. A big grouper fish like this might prey on small, young black tip reef sharks. So, believe it or not, friends, this fish is really big and it can actually eat, it can prey on young black tip reef sharks. Black tip reef sharks are small sharks, so bigger fish prey on them. Big sharks, like tiger sharks, will eat adults. Black tips stay out of tiger shark waters. Small black tips really need to watch out. Big fish, like groupers, will eat them. They also need to watch out for bigger black tips. Ooh, look at that exclamation point. That kind of means danger, danger. Ooh, what's the title of this one? One of my favorite times of the day. Dinner time. Dinner time. Oh, friends, look at the manta rays down here. Ooh, those are beautiful. Let's see. Oh, they're stingrays, actually. Black tip reef sharks are like all sharks. They eat meat. Mostly they eat small fish. These include mullet, surgeonfish, and jacks. But they also feed on other animals that live in shallow water. They eat skates and stingrays. They chomp on crabs and shrimp. They hunt squids and sea snakes. Wow, they eat a lot. They eat a lot. So there's a stingray. And we know it's a stingray because of that really long tail right there. And here's that caption again. Always look for captions. Black tips eat all kinds of reef life, including these flat stingrays. Do you think if they were to eat the stingray tail, that they would get stung in their mouth? Or do you think that maybe they have some sort of protective something in their mouth and they don't get stung? That's interesting. So, friends, here is a really good picture. Look at this tail. You see how much longer this tip is than this little piece here? And look at all those black tips. Beautiful. Just beautiful. And there's a smaller one too. Okay, let's see. Did I go too far? Nope, I didn't. I just thought I did. Here we go. Ooh, another caption. Almost all sharks have a gray back and white belly. This color helps them survive in the ocean. So, friends, think about that for a minute. If you were on top of the water up here looking down and you saw the gray top, I wonder if it would be easy to spot a shark. And think about if you were underneath the shark looking up, you would see white. Would it look like a fish or would it look like you were looking up toward the sky from under the water? Let's find out. A black tip's color helps it hunt. They have a dark gray back. Looking down into the water, the shark blends in with the ocean floor. It can swim under a school of fish unseen. Like most sharks, black tips can sense electricity. Ooh, that's amazing. When an animal moves, it gives off a little energy. Sharks can feel this. It helps them find their prey. Well, friends, I learned something new today. I didn't know it could do that. Most sharks hunt alone, but blacktip reef sharks hunt together. A group of blacktips will surround a school of fish. They herd the fish toward a reef. When the fish have nowhere to go, the sharks go into a frenzy. Frenzy. Let's look at that word. Oh, it didn't read it. Frenzy. It means great and often wild or disorderly activity. So they go into a frenzy. They swim wildly. They snap. They chomp. They snatch at just about anything. They even leap out of the water. So here are these sharks that they rounded up those fish. Here's another question. Do other sharks jump out of the water? Here's an answer. Not very many do. Mako sharks and great white sharks have been seen jumping like this. And let's not forget the caption up here. And I think this is an albatross, friends. An albatross is a huge ocean bird. Look at his face. Looks kind of funny. A bird flies over a black tip feeding frenzy. That's a lot of sharks chomping their teeth. A feeding frenzy is like when you guys come in from recess and go to snack time. You just can't wait to eat. A male black-tip shark will chase a female when he wants to mate with her. So this is the male. He's longer, and there's the female. She's a little bit tinier. During mating, a male chases after a female. He nips at her fins to catch her. The female will give birth about a year later. She gives live birth to her young. That means, friends, they don't lay eggs. Young sharks are called, what's that word? Pups. Most females have 2 to 4 pups. Wow, that's a lot. Pups look like tiny adults. They are 12 to 20 inches long, which is 30 to 51 centimeters. Mother sharks do not care for their young. Pups can find their own food. Can you imagine if you guys were born and your mom didn't feed you when you were a baby and they're like, hey, you can go find food on your own? I don't think you would do very well. Pups stay close to shore. It is safer there. When they are older, they will swim farther out into the water. They are fully grown in 8 to 9 years. So, friends, you guys are 6 and 7-year-old. Can you imagine being full grown when you were 8 or 9? Question. How long do blacktip reef sharks live? Answer. About 25 years. That's a long time. These are black tip pup sharks. They almost look orangish, don't they? These black tip pups are food for bigger fish. They stay close to shore. Right. Ooh, look at the scuba diver. A diver in a coral reef can swim near a black tip reef shark. It will not hunt a person. Well, that's good to know. Here's another question. Oops, I touched that too far. How can people stay safe from blacktip reef shark bites? Here's an answer. Swimmers should try to swim, not wade, in the shallow water. Black tips won't accidentally bite something as big as they are. All right, that's good to know. Okay, sharks and people. Sharks and people. Let's learn about that. Blacktip reef sharks are a small threat to people. During a feeding frenzy, a shark might mistake a diver for food, but bites are rare, and blacktips are small sharks, so their bites are not deadly. People are more of a threat to blacktips. So that means, friends, that even if you happen to get bitten by a blacktip shark, that you are more dangerous to them than they are to you. They're small. One danger to blacktip reef sharks is overfishing. So these sharks live near the shore. They are easier to catch than sharks that live out at sea. People catch the sharks for food. They use the fins to make soup. Some people use oil from the shark's livers to make traditional medicines. And this caption tells about this man down here. It's a reef shark, or a shark. I can't tell if it's a reef shark. A man carries a shark from a fishing boat. The shark's parts will be sold. Well, at least they're going to eat it, just like we do when we hunt fish. Ooh, look at these beautiful huts. So let's read the caption. Paddle boarding in a lagoon can be fun, but too many people on the shores can harm animal life. So we always have to be careful about that. Here's another question. Are there laws that protect blacktip reef sharks? Let's see the answers. No. People who work to protect animals think blacktip reef sharks do not need protection. Here's the key word, yet. So there's no laws to protect them yet. So people are a danger. Overfishing is a danger. Another danger to blacktip reef sharks is the loss of their homes. People build hotels and resorts along shores. These buildings can destroy the reefs where blacktips live. Pollution, we know that word. Pollution also ruins reefs. Fish can't survive in dirty water. If there are no fish, blacktips won't have food to eat. They might die, just like we would if we didn't have any food to eat. All right. So here is a picture of a really neat aquarium. Let's read this. Give me a thumb up if you've ever been to an aquarium. If you were in summer school with me last year, we went to the aquarium at the zoo. Good job. Have you ever been to an aquarium? Did you see sharks? They may have been blacktip reef sharks. They do better in zoos than other sharks. They will even mate in a zoo. Most sharks only do this in the ocean. Seeing blacktips at aquariums is helpful. A close up look helps us learn about these amazing sharks. So if you look up at this picture, you can see the blacktips. And now that I know what a blacktip reef shark looks like, I could go back and look at the zoo pictures and see if any of the pictures that I took were blacktip reef sharks. And if they are, I will share them with you guys. People watch a shark swim above with other fish in the aquarium. So this is really neat. It's like a tunnel, and the fish are swimming all over the people. So here's our glossary that I was telling you about. All the words that we read: aquarium, coral reef, frenzy, live birth, mate, pollution, prey, pup, and snout. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but these words are in alphabetical order, just like we do with our spelling words. Okay. And this is an index. We haven't learned about an index yet, but an index is at the very back of the book behind a glossary. And when you use an index, you're looking for specific things. So let's say that I'm learning about reef sharks, but I don't know how they hunt. I know everything else, but I don't know how they hunt. So I would look up the word hunt or hunting, and then I would go to pages 15 and 16, and that would tell me how they hunt. So that's pretty neat. Okay, let's finish this book. Oh, and here we go. We get to click. And here come the points. 70 points, friends. 70 points. Nice job. So I'm hoping that you come back for our next read aloud. Have a great day, friends. I hope you learned a lot.